All right, folks. What's happening? What is happening? If you're like me, you just watched the Pittsburgh Steelers go to Cincinnati and lose to the Bengals. And I will say this, guys, it's not the worst thing in the world. It's not the worst thing in the world, but I got some things I need to say. Hey, listen. I'm going to get right to it because you guys know my recap show is very quick. In and out. We got some problems on this team, guys. This is the reason why I say I like to wait 6 games, and I'm still not going to go all the way into my feelings about the team yet. I'll do that on Tuesday. But this is the reason why I give it 6 games for me to tell what I think the team is or isn't going to be. And I think I'm able to do that. Let's get to it. Let's see who's in here really quick, man, before I get started. Excuse me. Shout outs to, Mr. Rully. He said the title before it's over. Yeah, I put that title out there. In case y'all noticed, I posted this in like the second quarter. It just goes to show you that I don't switch up. I felt that in the second quarter, and I didn't care what happened in the rest of the game. I didn't care had we won the game, I still would have had the same title. That the Steelers not looking good against the Bengals, and I'm going to get into that. Lex B in the building. Myth Monkey is in the building. My man Y Diggy in the building. Hello, Odessa. Always got to say hello to our lovely ladies, the special ladies of Steeler Nation. CT Pittman is in the building as well. Who else is up in here, man? David McLeod. Beach Boy Mile. Or is that Molly? Debbie's in the building as well. Hello, Debbie. You know we're going to say hello to Debbie, another one of our lovely ladies of Steeler Nation. She is in the building. And let me just get right to it, guys. I don't want to sit here wasting you guys' time doing the intro. That is what the Tuesday show is for. Let's get right to it. Listen, I'm going to give you guys a couple quick notes that I notated in the game. I stopped notating probably around the third quarter. But here's the first thing I said. The offense gets a false start on the opening drive. Did not like that. Rodgers did hit DK Metcalf on a deep ball on 3rd and 11. That was also on the opening drive. The Steelers did end the drive in the end zone. Another opening drive touchdown, which is something we have not done in a long time, and we have been doing that this season with Aaron Rodgers. It was a touchdown, Rodgers to Jonnu Smith. Aaron Rodgers was able to scramble around looking like young Rodgers, not as fast, but buying time in the pocket. I think they showed that he bought about 8 seconds on that, and he found Jonnu Smith for the touchdown. Couple other things that I notated, man. I'm going out of order because I don't want to steal the thunder just yet. Well, you know what? Let me do it because the way I notated this, I have to get right to the nitty gritty. 2 things that I did not like that really grinded my gears. One guy grinded my gears more than the other, and I will explain why. But both of them will get an office visit tonight. First up, Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey, sir, come on in. Come on into the office. We're going to make this short and sweet. We're going to get right to it. Jalen Ramsey. Hold that thought 1 second, Jalen Ramsey. I got to go to my man, CT Pittman. I appreciate the Wonder Bread round of applause. He says, well, we known to trick off a couple of games every season. This was the first one. We do 1 or 2 more. Yeah, and at the end of the day, guys, I'm going to talk about that here at the end. We're 4-2. We're still leading the division. For how long, we'll see. I still think we have a chance, but we have a very tough schedule coming up. But That's why I'm saying I'm not going to go overly crazy because, again, I know there's people in the chat, I'm sure, oh, fire everybody and all of that. Okay. I mean, it's the same song and dance, and we always do this after a loss. There's some things that I did not like about this loss, and I'll get to it here in just a moment. What else? What was I saying? Oh, Jalen Ramsey. Reason why you are in the office, sir, 2 pass interference, 2 in the first half, and then you was getting cooked like some scrambled eggs out there tonight. Listen, Jalen Ramsey, you know I love you. As a Nose fan, I've always loved you, but it is what it is. Hey, you're a little bit older, I get that, right? But you still talk the talk, so you got to walk the walk. You walk around with your chest poked out talking like you the dog. We got to see it. And if you ain't a dog no more, it's cool. What I'm saying is if you can't play to that level, it's cool. I understand when guys get older. But you got fried pretty decently tonight, right? As did the rest of your compadres. As did Joey Porter Jr., who's coming in the office here in just a second. As did Darius Slay, which I told y'all on Tuesday, I got some things to say about Darius Slay. And I got plenty of time to watch the film from this game before I come on the Steel Table on Tuesday for Terrible Towel Tuesday. I call it the Steel Table because my good brother Kenyon will be on with me and we'll have a discussion about this team. But oh boy, oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. For some reason, my alerts are not coming on, but I'm able to see that here we have another piece of Wonder Bread. I thank you, Infamous Tim. Round of applause. He says, our cornerbacks are hurt, holding, or burnt. That's it. Yep, pretty much. Speaking of which, Joey Porter Jr., please come into this office, sir. Let me be the first one to tell you. I hate to do this, but I have to. As of right now, you are number 24. That will be the last time that I refer to you as Joey Porter Jr., JPJ, until further notice. And let me explain why. It's not just because you got the 2 pass interferences tonight. It's because you have been getting pass interferences since you have been a Steeler. I gave you your first season. We gave you season number 2. He's still learning the ropes. You're now on season number 3, and I understand you're still relatively young, but it's the same problems. It's the same thing that kind of popped up and plagued you in college. So I don't know. Should we get on the Steelers for taking a chance on him? Or should he have developed a better technique by now? So that is the reason why I am removing your name, number 24, and not Jalen Ramsey, because Jalen Ramsey, number 1, is older. Jalen Ramsey, number 2, has played relatively decent for the Steelers this year. He got himself into trouble tonight. Hey, it's Jamar Chase. I get it. But Jalen Ramsey has not done enough for me to take his name away. You, on the other hand, not being new to the Steelers, Mr. number 24, I'm sorry, your name is gone until further notice. This is what I talked about, guys, on Tuesday. This is what I talked about last week. I said, are we going to see number 24, whether or not he has fixed his ailment? He has not. At least in the early action that we're seeing him in this season. He still has time to earn his name back. We got more Wonder Bread, man. I'm going to just throw a round of applause for both. And then I'm going to move right along, guys, because, again, this show is quick. Leonard Dodd. Thank you. He says, nah, don't apologize. He deserves it. Yeah, man. Absolutely. CT Pittman as well. And also the infamous Tim with more Wonder Bread. He says, we need another real threat at wide receiver. They took DK completely out of the game. Okay, not mad at that. How did you guys notice that Roman Wilson played a good chunk of that game? Roman Wilson made a couple decent catches as well. The only reason why I'm bringing that up is, again, some of you guys kept saying, oh, he's not playing, oh, da-da-da-da. And he looked like he got the bulk of the snaps opposite DK Metcalf. That will be determined once we watch film, but he was out there quite a bit. And then Tim says, after the 120-yard reception, you think we changed the plan? Yeah, man, listen, I'm about to get there as well. I had a lot of notes, guys, so let me just get to them, and then I'm gonna be done. This is the knee-jerk reaction show. For more analysis, more deep dive, we'll be talking about it on Tuesday. Listen, Joy Porter Jr. and Jalen Ramsey both being called for pass interference twice in the first half is unacceptable, period. Unacceptable. The Bengals able to run the ball down the Steelers' throat on back-to-back drives before the end of the first half is unacceptable. The Bengals putting up 17 unanswered points in the second quarter is unacceptable. Aaron Rodgers did not like that first interception that he threw. I think the safety got a good read on the ball. He jumped it. Hey, it happens, right? But even the corner was a bit ahead of DK Metcalf on that. Do I understand why Aaron Rodgers takes the shot? Sure. But it happens, guys. It's the NFL. You're going to take shots. You're going to throw interceptions. It's going to happen. That second interception, not a whole lot you could do about that one. Ball placement, I would say, was superb on that. And the cornerback just made a heck of a play and ripped the ball out. And somehow got his knee down. But here's the problem, Steelers defense. 2 turnovers, 2 touchdowns. That is a problem. This Steeler defense, Terrell Austin and Mike Tomlin, please just come in the office really quick. Y'all have been in this office for the same reason. You got to figure something out, man. I'm almost at the point right now, I just feel like, I don't know. I don't know if it's an overhaul of philosophy of defense. It's something, I don't know. And it's hard for me to sit here and say something has got to change because, listen, this is what it's been. I don't know if a whole lot is going to change because a lot of times you guys will say it's all about executing. But I'm here to tell you that even when we win, I'm on record. Even when we win, I'm complaining about the way we choose to play defense in certain situations. When we choose to run zone and just leave so much space. When we choose to play off coverage. When we choose to give receivers the inside position and we don't take the inside away. You even heard Kirk Herbstreit say, I don't understand why they're not leaning more to the inside. What about that sequence when Joe Flacco threw the ball to Jamar Chase? He basically threw the same route 3 times in a row. And we just giving them up 10 yards, 12 yards, 15 yards, a pop. And then once again, in the middle of the field is where they attacked us with Sample. I think it was Sample, one of the tight ends, with Higgins. Then they hit us with Higgins on the outside right there to kind of basically put the nail in the coffin. That was on Jalen Ramsey, if I remember correctly. Guys, we have an issue. I'm just letting y'all know that. We have an issue. Yeah, I like the dogness, if you will, of these corners, but they ain't it, man. And what I mean by that is, listen, are we going to see Jamar Chase every week? No. But we've seen our pass defense kind of look like this from time to time with lesser. Jalen Ramsey is probably not what he once was. I mean, we can say that a couple years ago. That's fair. Darius Slade. He's 33, okay? And then I almost said it. Number 24 is just not dog, I like his grit. I like his fight, but it does nothing. It's for naught if he can't keep his hands off the receiver. Maybe they can play a little better, man. You know what I'm saying? But this scares me. Because let me add this real quick before I get out of here. The offense put up 31 points. 31 points. Let me take a look. Let me pull up the stats so you guys know exactly the type of night we had. Oh, and I got another complaint too that I'm going to tell y'all in just a second. Hold on, but let me get to the stats. Let me get to the stats. 1 second. Because I want to be accurate. This loss, folks, was on the defense at point blank period. This loss was on the defense. Point blank period. So let me read some numbers to you. 23 for 34, 249 yards, 67.6 completion percentage, 4 touchdowns, and yes, 2 interceptions, which one was a legit interception. The other one was a heck of a play by the defender. Ball placement was good on that one. Still finished with 103.7, QB rating. Jaylen Warren. Jaylen Warren is a dog, man. It's unfortunate that he didn't get into the end zone. 16 carries for 127 yards, and he did that. An average of 7.9. The Steelers rushed for 147 yards tonight. Guess what else? This one is for all of you. I'm pointing right at y'all. All of you that kept saying, oh, get rid of Pat Freiermuth. Oh, he's not doing anything. Ain't that funny? Sometimes things just happen. I had no way of knowing when it would happen, but didn't I just say on Tuesday, what if Aaron Rodgers is just throwing it to the open guy? What if we're just scheming around other players and such? Pat Freiermuth is going to have his time, and I'll be darned. 4 days later, Pat Freiermuth, the guy that ain't doing nothing. 5 receptions for 111 yards and 2 touchdowns. Yeah, the guy that ain't doing nothing. I told you guys, you fans, it's always, you know what I mean? It's one guy at a time with y'all, I swear. What is he doing? Why everybody else was cooking, why DK was cooking, and others was contributing. Now y'all questioning Pat Freiermuth. So what you gonna say about tonight? You gonna say DK won't jack because he only had 3 receptions for 50 yards and no touchdowns? Weapons, guys. It's all about weapons. So happy for Pat Freiermuth tonight. And guess what? We still didn't win the game. 31 points is enough to win. That should have won this game. This loss was on the defense. And I don't know what we're going to do to fix it. Let me give y'all another stat that was very disturbing. They said that the Cincinnati Bengals was the bottom of the league, the bottom in running the football. Chase Brown, 11 attempts, 108 yards, 9.8 average. They rushed for 142 yards. Even got us with a zone read keeper by Joe Flacco, and nobody saw that coming. Heck of a call. Unacceptable. Joe Flacco, 3 touchdowns, 66% completions. He threw the ball 47 times. We got 2 sacks, but it didn't matter. 3 touchdowns, 342 yards. Unacceptable. But I told y'all this on Tuesday, man. I said, look, I don't know. You know, it's a divisional game. Anything can happen. We just saw it last week when the Giants looked like they were the better team and they whooped up on the Eagles. It's divisional football. Don't get your panties in a wad. Right? So I will say this, man, before I get out of here. Listen, things happen. All right? Things happen. We lost the game. We're still at 4-2. Listen, we have a lot of football left to play. And it will be up to us how this season is going to go. But I'm going to give you my real thoughts about what I think this team is come next week. But it don't get no easier, bro. That's all I'm going to say. We got Green Bay next. Then the Colts. Then the Chargers. Then the Bengals again. Then the Bears. Then the Bills. Then the Ravens, whatever they will be at that point. Then the Dolphins. Then the Lions. Cleveland again. We finish with the Ravens. So it is good to be 4-2. I think this is going to be a very interesting race for the division. You know, as the young kids say, I think they were glazing the Bengals a little too much tonight. Like, oh, this could be the game that could spring them. I mean, it could be, but like, stop, man. Stop. Like, let's see what happens. Like, wait and see. Wait and see. They're still 3-4. Come on. So we'll see. You know, the rest of the division also has a tough schedule, so we'll see who wins the division down the stretch. But here's one positive note I will give you guys before I go. Where are we at? 22 minutes. So it's time to wrap this thing up. Listen, don't take this one so hard or so serious, guys. It is what it is. We lost. So what? It's divisional. We're still 4-2. We got a lot of football left to play. If there's anything positive to take from what we saw tonight, our offense can put points on the board. Aaron Rodgers can still play. Again, he can still play. 4 touchdowns in the air. We scored on that opening drive once again. Jaylen Warren was able to run the football. This was the offensive balance that we had been waiting for. If our defense would have showed up at all and limited Jamar Chase as well as the run game, we win this game easily. Just when we thought we had fixed the run game over the last 2 weeks, it showed its ugly head once again tonight. And that might be a problem. That and the way we choose to deploy the secondary, I don't know, guys. I don't know. And that's all I'm going to say is I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, you're right, Kenyon. He was, man. But I'm just saying, Slade doesn't offer us much. And it definitely doesn't make me feel good that number 24 played worse than that. So, I don't know, guys. But what I do know is I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, man. You guys have a wonderful rest of the night. Don't hang your heads too low. We're still at the top of the division, and we still kind of have it in our destiny when you look at the landscape of the division. The Ravens are 1-5. The Browns are 1-5. You got Cincinnati right there. I think we would probably win the next game versus Cincinnati because we had it right in our hands tonight. If our defense shows up at all, you give Jamar Chase how many? Jamar Chase had, hold on, guys. Let me go back to it. Unbelievable, man. Jamar Chase, 16 receptions for 161 yards and 1 touchdown. And the funny thing is, I'm pissed and I'm cool. Jamar Chase, folks, is my fantasy receiver. And I did not want him to get off tonight, but he gave me 38.1 points. That is crazy. My opponent had Jaylen Warren, and because Jaylen Warren didn't get in the end zone, it only gave him 19.8. Because Lamar Jackson is on the bye, I actually had Aaron Rodgers as my quarterback because there was nobody else for me to pick up the one, was it last week? When I want to say it was last week when Lamar Jackson was out, I had CJ Stroud. But then I let CJ Stroud go, because I was expecting Lamar to come back and, they're both of their, the buy for them as far as, I don't know, it just worked out the way I couldn't really keep CJ Stroud. So was scrambling to get a quarterback. And I was like, all right, let me see what Aaron Rodgers is going to do. And had he not thrown them interceptions, he would have gave me way more points, but I ended up getting 22.56 from him. So I now have a solid lead. The chances of me winning this week is saying 71%. So, yeah, Jamar Chase went crazy, but the Steelers, come on, man. Come on. When you know where the ball is going and you can't stop it, again, that dude is a dog, but come on. Off coverage, outside leverage. Learn to stop doing that so often. That's all I'm saying. And with that, folks, I say good night. Before we go, shout outs to CT Pittman, man. I see the Wonder Bread right there. Oh, look, Jermaine. Tomlin didn't have his team ready. Guys, listen. Let me just say this for the record, and shout outs to my guy, CT Pittman. None of that stuff matters to me. The Thursday night football record, the people saying they ain't had a team ready to play, none of that matters to me because I don't believe in any of it. I do not. That's just me. And this does not only just for Tomlin. I would say this about most coaches in the NFL. I believe every team comes in ready to play. But they get out on the field and things go awry. Or they make a bad coaching call or whatever. But I do not believe that any team comes to the NFL stadium and they're not ready to play. Nor do I really fall into all of these stats. Like, oh, they haven't won such and such since then. Oh, they're 0 and such and such. When it comes to 10 yards to go, to me, it's coincidence, man. Because I think for every 0-9 in Thursday night football against a divisional opponent, you can find another stat that trumps it. Like how often we beat divisional opponents and how the Browns hasn't won using the Browns, they hadn't won a game in Pittsburgh in over 20 years. See, that's why I don't get into that stuff. That's why I just don't get into that stuff because most of the time, people utilize these things. I don't think CT is, but people utilize negative stats to, I guess, forge a narrative, which is fine if that's how you feel. But I don't fall in traps to all that stuff. I just don't, man. It's coincidental. Every coach in the NFL has some wacky stat like that. The one I do care about, and I will say this, and we all will say, is the playoff record. That's the one that means something to me, that we have not won a playoff game since 2016. Now, we could talk about that, but all those other ancillary stats and your and this, just like, again, we're going to say what his record is against divisional opponents on the road on Thursday Night Football, but then look at the stellar record that he has coming off of a bye. You see what I'm saying? It's a yin and yang. That's why I don't feed into any of those wacky stats. I just don't. But that's it. Bottom line, man, got to stop the run. Cannot turn the football over. If the Steelers stop the run game tonight, even with Jamar Chase going off, if they stop the run, limits that, and if they do not turn the ball over, they win. And I think very easily. Again, 31 points, folks. The offensive output that we have seen in 6 games, we are not accustomed to seeing over the last 5 years. That's why I said there is light, in my opinion. There's some optimism there. I'm just not sure how good it can be if the defense has a slip. Now, again, every NFL team has a game or two where they bump their head. Cool. If this was one of those dud games, fine. But we just got to see what happens going forward. And shout outs to Roman Wilson and Pat Fryermuth, two guys that people have been very down on. And both of them had some decent moments tonight. Fryermuth had an excellent moments tonight. So, all right, I'm out of here, guys. If you haven't already, if you like what you saw here tonight, boom, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Outside of that, you guys be safe, stay healthy. God bless. Good night. Like always, guys, I thank each and every one of y'all for tuning in. I shall see you guys on Tuesday as we continue to talk about what transpired tonight. All right, catch y'all then. Peace.